Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. My name is Rocky, and this review will be for the series premiere of Constantine. This is a show I have been looking forward to for a very long time as soon as I first heard rumors about it. There are a few things that I want to preface this review with, just a little extra information before I go into my review. Number one, the show is based off the John Constantine shown in the Hellblazer comics, and is not connected to or any type of continuation of the Constantine movie starring Keanu Reeves. Number two, you will see a lot of things in Constantine that appear familiar or similar to the Supernatural series, most notably the appearance of Castiel's wardrobe. It's actually, his wardrobe is an homage to John Constantine, as the crew of Supernatural has borrowed or used a lot of things from the Hellblazer comics as a basis for things that they've presented in Supernatural. So you will see some similarities there, and that's kind of the reason why. Number three, a lot of people have stated that the episode seemed kind of clunky and jerky, and this is due to the original pilot was leaked online earlier this year. After that, there were changes made to the cast as they essentially got rid of the Liv character and changed quite a few scenes in the episode. So there were a lot of things that had to be reshot, and considering they were building up to the Liv character in this episode, so that's why it was kind of a little clunky there. So just wanted to give that information first. Now going to go ahead and go into my review of the episode. Number one, I want to say Matt Ryan, the casting of him was brilliant. He's completely nailed the character of John Constantine. In the comics, Constantine is not even an anti-hero. He's a very reluctant kind of hero. In fact, he wouldn't even call himself a hero at all. He's essentially just a con man. He's very well versed in magical knowledge and is quite powerful, but he doesn't like to show that power much, because he knows the more you show power, the more you're going to get seen by good people and bad people, and the more people may rely on you. And he kind of just would prefer to just not be seen, right under the radar. He doesn't like getting involved in things. Just by nature of his family line and everything, he happens to always pop in at areas where he has to get involved. So Matt Ryan definitely presents that attitude very well. So again, great casting with him. And just we start off basically in Ravenscar, and see that at this point Constantine is trying to basically absolve himself of what happened in Newcastle, or completely forget about it, or find some way of coming to terms with it. Newcastle in the show as well in the comics is basically a point that essentially broke Constantine. So much bad stuff happened there. In the show, it's shown that the child Astro was essentially dragged to hell, and he couldn't stop it, and he's just trying to deal with this any way he possibly can, just because he's so weighed down by guilt. And that's presented very well with Matt Ryan and his outburst with the doctor just trying to make him believe that demons don't exist, and that none of this really happened, so that he doesn't have to feel this weight on him. Again, it's presented in later scenes in the sanitarium, and that the woman that's possessed, and how initially Constantine doesn't want to be involved in it. He's trying to walk away, but he realizes he has to do something, so he does. That's kind of a running theme of Constantine's character in the comics, is he just doesn't want to get involved unless he absolutely has to. And even then, he'd rather use his wit and conning ability as opposed to outright magic. So I think that's something they're probably going to carry on in the series as well. At least I hope they do. But again, presented very well by Matt Ryan. He is doing a great job. Looking forward to the rest of this season with him in the series as well. The other characters, we get Chaz, who is Constantine's longest lived friend. And it's going to be interesting to see how they present these amazing survival skills that he has, as that's a little bit different in the comics. But in the comics, Chaz was his longest lived friend, so they are keeping that as well. So they're keeping some stuff from the comics, but then, they're kind of doing their own thing as well, which is great. I love seeing that they respect the source material, but, they're kind of doing their own thing as well. We find out in this episode, John's kind of main motivations right now are trying to free Astra's soul from hell, and he's trying to find a way to summon up his mother, as she died during childbirth with him, and he just wants to get to know his mom. Now, in the comics, family is a very strong thing in Constantine's life. They haven't made mention on the show about his sister or the twin brother that died during childbirth with him. So I don't know if those characters are going to be referenced at all in the show, but I do hope they are, because they are kind of key to some things that happens to Constantine later on. We get a nod to the comics in the Jasper's cabin. We see the helmet of Dr. Fate. Just kind of get a glimpse of it as Liv picks it up and Constantine gives her the warning. Dr. Fate is a very powerful character in the DC universe. He's essentially a guardian of order. For like power scale reference, if you're a Marvel Comics fan, he's kind of on the same power scale as Doctor Strange. More or less a little bit different, type of characters, but as far as raw power, pretty close to that as far as magic ability. So the villain in this episode of Furcifer, he's presented very well indeed. I like the character. I don't know if he's going to come back later on. Imagine he probably will, as demons do have a way of popping back up. But the special effects with him and his abilities, as well as the special effects towards the end, just all around were very well done for a television show. I definitely enjoyed those. We get the introduction of the Manny character, which is an angel, sent to keep an eye on Constantine. In the Constantine universe, you can't necessarily trust an angel. I know it was a little odd to say, but angels are always working an angle, just like demons are, just like Constantine is. Everyone's working some type of angle, some type of con. In this case, it looks like the angels want to use Constantine to find out what's going on down here on Earth. As a lot of very nasty and evil things are making their way to the surface, and that's not really happened a lot. I mean, it happens some, but it's happening on a large scale, as mentioned by the Richie character in this show. And through Richie's character, we get that idea that Constantine is, more or less considered a pariah at this point by anyone that he's known. No one wants to hang out with him except for Chaz. This all traces back to the Newcastle incident, and that's connected to the comics as well. As after that incident in the comics, whatever friends he had still alive did not want anything to do with him, as anyone close to him, ends up dying. That's mentioned in the show as well. So they've kept a lot of those nods to the comics. Again, like I mentioned earlier, they did change the ending of this episode, as the Liv character is no longer going to be on the show at this point. I hope maybe they'll bring her back later on, as I thought she was an interesting character. And, I hope they'll bring her back, because I'd like to see her again. The actress, I thought, did a decent job. And, they kind of needed a stronger female character to play off of Constantine, as he doesn't really have that mentor-type personality right now. In the comics later on, he does take on kind of a mentor role with some characters. So, it'd be nice maybe in a later season if they bring her back. That'd be really cool, I think. But they did make way for the Zed character, which you get a brief introduction at the end, or at least a brief tease of an introduction at the end of this episode, as she's the artist drawing all those paintings and sketches, and the majority of the ones presented are actually one sheets or covers of the Hellblazer comics. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this was a great premiere. I'm definitely looking forward to where this show is going to go. I know it's kind of in a tough time slot, but following Grimm, I think it's going to do very well. I'm definitely psyched to see the rest of the show and see how Matt Ryan grows in Constantine. Like I said, he's at this point completely nailing every part of the character. So I'm loving seeing him in the role, and to see how they present the other characters. I know we're going to be getting Papa Midnight, he's already been casted. We're going to get Spectre. Maybe we'll see some type of Dr. Fate action, or at least hear the voice maybe from the helmet. That would be kind of cool to see. So there's a lot of different characters they could bring in. What's happening at this point is with the DC shows, we have Arrow is kind of focusing on more of the tech type of villains and heroes. Flash is dealing with more of the superpowered hero and villains, traditional at least. And through Constantine, we're going to get more of that darker magic side of the DC universe, which is a part of the comics I really enjoy, because the stories go all over the place. So we may see, I'm hoping we're going to see Zatanna, as in the comics, her and Constantine, have a relationship and everything. She's an interesting character, so I'd love to see her on the show. So we'll just have to see where it goes from here, but I'm definitely excited. Are you guys excited for Constantine and where it's going? Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this episode. If you enjoy my review, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share the video, and please subscribe to my channel. You can go and click the picture on the upper right of the video. That'll give you the option to subscribe. Definitely want to have some conversations with you guys about Constantine, so any questions you have on the characters or the episode, definitely go ahead and put those down in the comments. I'll do everything I can to get those answers for you. That being said, hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Bye.